everyone, and welcome to today's presentation on the Pharmacy and MBA Collaborative Degree Program. We encourage you to enroll in this program. It really helps you to learn to drive the business of the pharmaceutical industry. We're really learning more about analytical tools and managerial skills necessary to become a leader. As far as who we are, your panel today, my name is Rebecca Mueller. I am the Assistant Director of Recruitment, and I do encourage you to connect with me with any questions that you may have regarding the MBA component of the collaborative degree. But I'm also joined today with two of my colleagues from the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. So I will pass it over to Chrisopher Daly to introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation and being here today. Dr. Chrisopher Daly, Clinical Associate Professor here at the University of Buffalo School of Pharmacy, graduate of this program as well back in 2012. So it has been a pleasure to be able to mentor students that have similar interests throughout. And I'd like to bring on my colleague, Dr. Cellino, to introduce herself as well.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Cellino. I am a clinical assistant professor, also a graduate from the UB School of Pharmacy and PharmD program. Class of 2019, I think it's a pleasure to be back. I've been in my role for 1 year now. And I thoroughly enjoy seeing what the students are doing, especially my MBA, PharmD candidates. So it's a pleasure to be here today, and I'm hoping to get questions from you about the program and how to make the most of your time here at UB.
Excellent. So I'm going to also pass it over to my colleagues to talk a little bit about why they recommend combining the MBA with the PharmD program.
Wonderful. I'll start. So this is a very unique combination. And when you think about the pharmacy degree, it is a very great degree. It's one that you obtain a professional licensure essentially for life, your entire career. But what we've realized as well is there's many different aspects to pharmacy and how you're able to apply different skill sets. And what we've been able to grow over the many decades of this program is combining an additional degree that looks at analytical skills. So being able to analyze data, being able to present information in a critical fashion, and be able to take questions and make decisions in a real-time sense, that it's really allowed students to diversify their experience and really build confidence in many different areas. If anything, as the slides outline here, it develops a combination of, soft skills, leadership, communication, teamwork, but also some hard skills in critical thinking and communication as well. So you have the opportunity to not only network and work with the experts and faculty within the School of Pharmacy, but also the School of Management, which has really been a great opportunity and growth factor for myself and my career as well. Dr. Cellino, any additional comments from your perspective?
Yeah, I'll echo what you said, Dr. Daly. And I personally pursued a PharmD MBA as like a professional investment. I did a 3-year undergrad, and then I started the PharmD program. And I wanted to differentiate myself because going through the PharmD, everyone comes with the same degree. What else is out there to differentiate yourself and make sure that you are practice ready in addition to ready to care for patients? So I wanted to invest into the MBA to kind of derive those transferable leadership, interpersonal skills, and also technical skill to kind of advance my professional career. And I can tell you that after going through the MBA program, I have learned tools on how to manage myself, how to promote my clinical service, how to develop a new service, I should say, even in my new role here at UB. So it's a very valuable investment, and it is what you make of it. And you have all the tools within the management program to kind of step out of your comfort zone, network and learn and expand your skills beyond what the PharmD will provide you with.
Well, very well said. And just to highlight, one additional point, and we'll go and talk about what this program looks like, is you have access not only to world-class faculty, but also a network of alumni and leaders that have been developed over decades, really, that are willing to talk to you as a learner, but also be able to cultivate maybe those next learning steps And some of those, can't be covered in a classroom. That is more in a professional environment, and having that relationship and ability to network with these individuals is another one of the highlights of these programs.
Great. So talking a little bit about the timeline of this, how exactly does this work? When do you apply? So this timeline shows you an estimated timeline of if you were to have started the MBA program after your year one of PharmD. So we really do encourage you to apply to the MBA program during that first professional year of your pharmacy program. Now, you can apply during your second professional year of your pharmacy program. However, this is discouraged. Dr. Daly, can you talk a little bit about why that is?
Absolutely. So what we have here is a program that takes it from a Doctor of Pharmacy degree, which is 4 years, and a Master's of Business Administration, a 2-year degree, and put it together as a 5-year degree, right? So there's that immersion year in year 2, where you would be taking core MBA classes, and you will go over to have the full experience with the School of Management. So not only other Doctor of Pharmacy students, but maybe other healthcare professionals, law students, business majors, accounting, medicine, dental, you name it. It's a very diversified school, and one that is strong in the sense of not only cultivating what a team and group work would like in developing those skills, but also individual skills as well. So that immersion year really is important to the degree, and where it's best positioned after the first year of professional school, where you'll complete those activities, apply to the program, and then go to that as well. And then in years 3 through 5, so the 2nd through 4th years of your pharmacy program, it will be a combination of both Doctor of Pharmacy and Masters of Business Administration classes as well. And there's a well thought out plan. There is, a consistent pace that we would have you on as well. There's integration into the clerkship or final year, where you get to be out on rotations and learn that as well. So to maximize, the time where you're putting both skill sets together is another reason for having it after the first year. And as Rebecca mentioned, if you come around to the idea, or you have the motivation and ambition to pursue it maybe a little bit later than the first year, where it isn't preferred, there is an opportunity to look into that after the 2nd year. So there would only be 2 years of a blended course overall. But as we want to highlight on the slide here, we do believe the program is best positioned having the immersion year after the first professional year.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that explanation. So a little bit just about kind of what your year in the MBA program looks like that first year. You can kind of see that the curriculum planner is listed somewhat here, so you have a better idea. In the School of Management, we're really aiming to maximize your return on investment with these foundation building core courses and career targeted electives. So it was developed with input from corporate recruiters, alumni, faculty, staff, career experts, and really does focus on this breadth of management courses to provide you with both the skills and knowledge to be a successful manager in any industry. So in your core year, you are part of a diverse cohort as well as a small team who works together across all your classes. So it's a really great addition to the curriculum, is this teamwork building that you'll be doing. And a lot of our students will be choosing to engage in other action learning opportunities as well. And I'll get into those a little bit later. But most of them are going to participate in some sense of some sort of action learning. Now, because you're maybe considering this dual degree, you have a unique experience in terms of this rotation internship requirement piece, which I'm also going to have Dr. Daly speak a little bit about for you.
Absolutely. So as you have seen, there's a map of how this is all going to fit together, right? So we covered the overall program. The last slide covered what is going to happen in that specific year. But then beyond that, there are additional electives and what we would term here as an MBA internship that would be required as well. So how do we get that all done, right? So very doable. We, to sit down and the student has the opportunity to make an individual plan. but we work it right into the Doctor of Pharmacy program as well. So once you're back from that core year, you have the opportunity to take MBA electives towards that 18 credit threshold. You'll start in that MBA year, but you'll continue with that as well. We waive the pharmacy electives to help facilitate that. Some students do still, want to take some pharmacy electives that maybe have an ambition in a clinical area or a specific skill set that they want to do. That's encouraged. But the one that we want to really focus on here that there might be questions is what is that 3-credit MBA and internship? So there's multiple ways to do it. One of the ways is during the APP year. So that's the advanced year where you're out on rotations, not in a didactic or lecture-based learning, but you're immersed at clinical practice sites. And within that, you would be focused in more of the MBA perspective. So examples may be an internship at a pharmaceutical company, maybe a manufacturer, maybe a corporate pharmacy partner. You're more at a corporate office working on different projects. But you'll work with that through the MBA school to be able to identify that advisor and build towards that as well. And that will help go towards the credit as well. We have very ambitious students that want to preserve those rotations as well and have different opportunities. So they even elect, because it's all about flexibility here, right? Dr. Cellino mentioned that there's a lot of customization to this. You have an option to take the 3-credit MBA and internship, potentially over summer. Once you identify that individual, there's a combination of, sites coming to us with availability and students we're reaching out to identify as well. And with that can be done at different times over the summer. But please note, there may be additional MBA tuition charges, a credit hour per fee that would be realized in that sense as well. And if that's the case, you would still need to complete all the APPEs. But as I mentioned, a lot of students utilize some of their elective rotations. You're allowed to utilize, at least at the current time, 2 elective rotations towards more of an MBA or specialization.
Perfect. So after your core year, when you're kind of blending your pharmacy and your MBA courses towards the end there, you can actually really kind of define your career goals and dive deeper through one of our 9 concentrations if you want to. MBA graduates are applying their learning as they connect theory and practice with a sense of purpose. So you can see here the 9 different concentrations that we offer. Now, this is just going to help you to determine what elective courses you're taking, essentially. You can choose 1 concentration, you can choose 2 concentrations, and some students actually don't declare a specific concentration and instead choose to take classes from all these different concentration options. So it's not something that you need to know about coming in, but it just gives you an idea. If you wanted to focus in specifically on healthcare management, for example, you do have that opportunity as well. Now, I spoke a little bit earlier about action learning, so I just want to talk a little bit about some of the action learning opportunities that we have. Our experiential learning actually starts really before you even come to campus. So there's a orientation component where you work a lot with your teams and build upon your leadership skills and critical thinking. So it really starts before classes even get started. Then there's something called Corporate Champions, which is an opportunity for you to partner with local organizations across Western New York and to help kind of strengthen the students' understanding of the world of business and their connection to it. So you're working with real companies in your core year, and that's something that's super beneficial for our students. Something that we actually are award-winning in is something called Leader Core. It's a selective personal and professional development journey that runs within your time in the MBA. So this requires you to undergo a rigorous assessment to identify competencies that you want to strengthen and create a customized personal development plan. And then you're working with our team of faculty, staff, external coaches, and alumni that are really focusing with your theory, practical application, and personal experiences that will help you to prepare for future leadership roles. And that gives you both a certification as well as a micro-credential. So that's something that you apply for after you are in the program itself. There's also opportunities to do some global programming, which might be a little bit difficult to do when you're doing a combined degree program like this. But what you can do is they are faculty-led short-term programs, and what you can do with this is the credit itself is all done virtually. So it's something that is done, during the semester. And then there's optional travel to the program's destination. So you don't have to actually go on the trip itself, but still get that piece of the global experience. Other opportunities, go ahead.
I was going to say on that, Rebecca, we have current students who really like that program. And Dr. Cellino has been instrumental in getting them paired to the right experience overall. So that has proven to be a great target for a lot of students and aligning in interest.
Excellent. Very good. There's also opportunities like project clinics if you want to get your hands in more type of these smaller real world projects that you can do. That you're basically doing multiple short-term projects throughout the semester to give you that kind of dynamic experience. And then another piece we like to highlight is the collab, which is really great if you are thinking about entrepreneurship or innovation centers, those types of things. It's a part startup incubator and part idea sharing center, and it connects students to mentors, events, funding, and experiences. And then we really do encourage students to take advantage of if they are thinking more of the entrepreneurial side of things. But there's a lot of different ways that you can get involved. As Dr. Daly said, global programs is a really big hit with the pharmacy students. So definitely dive deeper into that if that's something that you are interested in. There's other ways to get involved as well, as I'm sure you are well aware. There's a lot of different school of management organizations that you can see listed here, plus over 400 student clubs campus-wide that you can take advantage of. So we really encourage this from a management perspective when it comes to networking opportunities, leadership development, even industry insights. A lot of the times there are guest lecturers, seminars, and interactions that are facilitated by the student organizations themselves. And that can really help students learn the knowledge about current industry trends, challenges, and opportunities. And then finally, it also helps to build up that resume for you as well. Now, when it comes to career preparation, in the School of Management, we have our own comprehensive career resource center, which offers personalized coaching, industry connections, and tools to help you navigate your career path from day one. So some of the opportunities that they have for you are things like developing your career strategy, personal brand, honing the tools that you'll need for an effective job search and rewarding career. So we really encourage students to take advantage of that individualized coaching and career services to help with all that. Some of the main pieces that folks really take advantage of are BizLink, which is the online career management system, which is just for School of Management students. And then you also have access to something called virtual power chats. And those allow you to connect with alumni and business leaders and ask your questions. So you can really hear about their career paths, current work, and receive career advice from experienced professionals. Now I am going to pass it over to Dr. Cellino to talk a little bit about the PharmD and MBA career opportunities.
Thank you, Rebecca. So when you come to pharmacy school, I think the first incline is, okay, I'm going to be in clinic, I'm going to become a clinician or a pharmacist owner, and so on. Pairing the MBA kind of like elevate your skill set to like a broader world out there. So if you're interested in ownership or maybe like leadership or becoming a manager, definitely having the PharmD MBA set you apart and equip you with the tool you need to excel in your role. In addition to the more like obvious role that you may take on, you can be involved into the pharmacy industry, become work for like the drug manufacturing. You can also be in leadership with like hospital pharmacy operation. I know some of our current PharmD MBA, or maybe like the recent graduate, ended up going the residency route to eventually land in a hospital administration type of position. So we have many different career routes that pair well with the PharmD, but also it's very like specific to the management or leadership aspect. And we have a couple examples listed on the slides. So I will strongly encourage you to reach out to Dr. Daly or myself to as you are like trying to plan your career opportunities and see what is out there. As an incoming PharmD student interested in the MBA, you may have an idea of what you want to do after graduation. When I started at UB, my idea was, okay, I'm going to own my personal retail business and have an independent pharmacy. And as I went through the curriculum and I did the FAMD MBA, I found myself enjoying more the clinical aspect of it, but I also wanted to have a better ownership of my practice, which led me to also pursue residency after the FAMD program. So the MBA doesn't really pigeonhole you in a specific career, but it just expands on the opportunity that are available to you. And a lot of time it's not as crystal clear because we don't always showcase the career route. But Dr. Daly and I are actually looking to see how we can actually build a network that is readily accessible to a FAMD MBA candidate so that you can see what your predecessor have done and what are the different career opportunities that are out there, because we are still evolving. The world of healthcare is evolving, and there are many ways you can insert yourself and bring your skill set to best serve your patient, your community, and the world as a whole. And that's why we also have like a global route that expose you to perhaps NGO or like some form of like entrepreneurship in the beyond the US. So I am very excited about career opportunity discussion for anyone interested. And I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Daly to add to that, because I'm sure he has something to say.
Very, very well said. I think this is another strength of really trying to take a look at this program and seeing, the many years of graduates going through the program. One of the key strengths is having that network where you have early career individuals, mid-career, and late career to be able to mentor and advise through so some of these changing fields. What we know is modern healthcare is complex. It exists in a very complicated environment, and those interested in pursuing leadership opportunities really do need to consider this dual degree combination, especially for these opportunities. And that will make you more marketable. It'll help develop skills ahead of other individuals who maybe need career experience to be able to obtain that. You would have all of those at entry level. And you would maybe also possibly have internships and other experiences under your belt as well. So great slide, great conversation, and we really look forward to further developing programming around these topics.
Thank you so much, both of you, for going into detail with the career opportunities. That was some very valuable information that you shared, so thank you very much. Moving on, talking just a little bit about the MBA admissions process. So you're already in the pharmacy program, that's excellent, but now you need to apply to the MBA program. So what exactly does that entail for you, and when should you be applying for it? So there's some critical dates that you'll see here on this slide. Applications for our fall 2025 semester are open, so you can really start the application process whenever you feel ready. The biggest piece is that we're really trying to push applicants specifically for this combined degree program needs to be in and completed no later than January 31st. So if you look up just a little bit, you'll see here that there's actually a priority deadline for scholarship consideration, which is January 15th. So personally, that's where I would kind of push you to, but it does give you, a couple of weeks there to get everything in. But try and remember that January is going to really be when you want to get your application in and completed. When it comes to the application process itself, there's an online application, which comes with a $100 application fee that you need to pay. There's a couple of categorical exceptions. So if you fall into those or you feel you fall into that category, just let me know. A lot of times that's going to be, if you were an EOP student, HEOP, SEEK program student, if you were participating in C-STEP, MARC, PrEP, RISE, Ella Sanford McNair, if you applied to us through Project 1000 or AmeriCorps, if you are a U.S. military folk, or if you are a veteran of the military, or an applicant who is a spouse of a U.S. veteran, those are the categorical exceptions. So just let me know and I can kind of walk you through what that looks like for you. There's also the transcripts. We will need your unofficial transcripts to be submitted. If you're a UB student, you would also need to upload your AAR, your academic advising report, an updated resume with month and year of experience, if you have any. If not, that's not a problem either, but we do need a resume. And for the personal statement, there's actually 2 personal statements that we require. The first one is kind of explaining your career trajectory, short-term, long-term goals, why you want to do the program. Specifically, why are you interested in the PharmD MBA? How do you feel like it's going to be a good fit for you? We really want to see that in your personal statements. When it comes to GMAT or GRE, we are test optional for that, so don't worry about having to complete any of those exams. It's not a requirement that you need to focus on. For those of you who may be international students, I do encourage you to reach out to me to schedule an appointment so we can talk a little bit more about these additional requirements. Some of the main ones are making sure that you have a bachelor's degree that's equivalent to a U.S. bachelor's prior to enrolling. The English language proficiency exam is required for everybody who is not a native speaker of English. Financial documentation, that's required for I-20 things like that. Passport photo page, WES or ECE evaluations are not required. Again, we're talking about a dual degree program, so you've probably done a lot of this stuff already, but reach out to me if you fall into this category. Now, when it comes to tuition and fees, we'll talk just a little bit about the investment. So you know a lot of this already, but this is a really great way to invest in yourself. Being the fact that we are a flagship in the New York State area, we have a really great value. So our tuition really is only a fraction of the cost of attending, let's say, a private college or university of comparable quality and opportunities. So we'll kind of go into what that looks like for you in funding the degree. So I really just kind of wanted to show you what your year one would look like, because as Dr. Daly mentioned earlier on, after your one full year in the MBA program, the tuition is going to get a little bit different depending on how many courses you're taking on the pharmacy side versus the MBA side. But this gives you a look as to what you're looking at for, one year in the program if you live in New York State, or if you are a non-New York State resident or international student. These are subject to change, so we definitely always encourage folks to check out the Student Accounts website for more information on that. And then in terms of funding the degree itself, to enhance our already competitive tuition, we do award scholarships, fellowships, assistantships for our outstanding, highly motivated students. All awards are merit-based and can be funded for either full or partial tuition. All applicants are considered for scholarships that fall underneath our School of Management umbrella during the admissions process. Now, there are other opportunities for folks to apply for graduate student teaching and research assistantships, and each one is offered every semester in a competitive process to a select number of qualified full-time students. So these assistantships, you are typically receiving both a stipend and a tuition scholarship. If accepted into the program, you would gain access to our online portals that allow you to explore and apply for assistantships campus-wide. So we do not do the assistantship process through the admissions team. That's something that you would apply for afterwards. We also encourage you to check out that QR code there, because you may be eligible for a scholarship through other UB Connected resources. So please take a look at that for more information. But as we wrap up, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to contact me with any, MBA type questions, or Dr. Daly or Dr. Cellino for anything on the pharmacy side. But before we conclude, do you guys have any final thoughts for our audience?
I would highly encourage you to look into it. If you're even the remote chance of considering this, it is well worth doing an outreach. And with that outreach, in addition to us, there are current students who are going through the program. And there's even an opportunity to go spend some time at the School of Management to see what the program could potentially be like. So as you're going to find out, there are many great support resources here at the university, and this dual degree program really maintains that high standard.
I just want to say, you listening to this recording or being here is the first step. And as you can see, we took time to put this together and to encourage you to reach out. And I will say, as a former student and now as a faculty, this is something UB has been great at making resources available to students. And you'll have like a tailored advisement based on what your needs are. And that's the thing with the PharmD MBA. It's not like a cookie cutter type thing. It is what you make out of it. So again, many opportunities and many chances to expand on your degree here. And again, always reach out. We are happy to meet with you individually and advise you on your professional and academic journey.
Excellent. I would just like to echo what Dr. Daly said about connecting with us in regards to meeting with current students, or if you want to come visit campus, please let us know. For again, the school of management side of things, please send me an email. I'd be happy to connect you, because we do understand that while we can give you a great kind of spiel on the administrative side and how wonderful the program is, sometimes it's great to just hear from current students. So we definitely do encourage that. So that being said, we thank you so much for taking time out of your day. We look forward to working with you if you are interested in the program, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.